Hi, I'm Ranjan Bhattacharya, your event host for the Baker Street Property Meet, and I'm with my good friend Daniel Wagner.
Hi, good evening.
Daniel's one of my oldest friends in property. We've known each other since, I don't know now.
More than 10 years, 4 or 5.
2004 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Our daughters went to the same school. And
Unbelievable. It's gone, we'll go back a long way.
They're all grown up now, aren't they? But you've been, you did a lot of stuff in property. And then you had a huge success with alternative streams of income, helping people make money online.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was a monster success, but you were ploughing your profits back into property.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty is once you make a bit of money, there's the question, where should you put it if you're in this lucky position? And Ranjan always told me many years ago, if you want to do something for the long term, property has been and will be the place to put money. So over the time I bought HMOs, I bought single lets, I did some commercial investments, some lending here and there, but my favorite ones, just from the effort to income ratio, are the HMOs.
The HMOs, and I guess for the last few years, you've been doing a non-property business as your full-time
Absolutely,
thing.
yeah.
And you have been managing quite a successful portfolio of HMOs. Can you share with people some of your tips for getting started with HMOs and managing those HMOs?
Yeah, absolutely. So where do I start? Number one, I would say make sure that you don't go into places or houses that have 4 rooms, right? For me, the HMO started 5 or 6.
Why is that?
It's just the rental return for the same effort is so much larger. In essence, the first 2 rooms normally pay for the mortgage. Room 3 pays for ancillaries and costs.
Keep
and then
the lights on and all.
Yeah, you make sure things are working and maintenance. So room 4 is what? Profit. Room 5 is what? Profit. Room 6 is what? Profit, right? So the first 3 rooms, and if you take voids into account, because HMOs sometimes have a more turnover of tenants over the year. So all my HMO, I have 3, and they all have 5 or 6 rooms, and the 6 rooms are my favorite ones.
6 is of course optimum, because you don't, if it's 2-story in most areas, you don't need to go for the license.
Yeah, actually, thanks for prompting me on this. Yeah, legislation is a little bit different in different parts of the UK, but in general, if it's 2-story, you don't need a license. And I avoided licensing, and why would you, tell the council, alert them if you don't have to? So yeah, that's, I think, is the ultimate thing. They're normally just nice family homes that lend themselves to 5 or 6 rooms. Another thing, look at different areas. In the area I started, there was no need for a lounge. Some people think they have to make it something like their own home. Don't do that. The best way to do that is you look at what would you do, sample ads, look at other HMO posters, attendance, see the standard of rooms available, and then do a better product, which is sometimes not that hard because the standards are pretty low. Most people don't try very hard.
Did you mystery shop around your area?
Absolutely, yeah. Got to. You need to know. I mean, you told me that years ago, right? Little secret ads, and also gauging rental demand before you buy.
Yes.
And that's very simple. You put a ghost ad in and just see how many people would come back.
That's very important these days because so many people have got into HMOs. There are some areas where there's a glut.
It is indeed, and actually the area I went in, which I bought my first HMO 5 years ago, then another one 3. I even remortgaged one on a commercial mortgage, pulling out extra equity, which was beautiful. And yeah, many people got into the market, so I did see the rent slightly slide. Painful at the beginning, but still the yields are dramatically better than on some of the single lets I bought earlier in my career.
So how do you, managing HMOs is not your day job.
No.
How do you keep it as a sideline activity and so that you can concentrate on all the other great things that you do?
Yeah, the managing of the property has always been my least favorite part, and the reason is my portfolio isn't big enough to put a full-time person in. So I normally have, for the first 3 years, just a lady who had HMOs in the area, and I paid her a little bit to look after mine as well. She did the usual check-in, prepared the contracts.
Just building your team.
Yeah,
finding your team.
Yeah, and I would say that is the most important part, and you can trust somebody to do that. A little tip from a friend of mine who's got over 100 rooms, he just said make sure the standard of the house stays really at a high level. The moment something breaks and you don't fix it, it's almost permission for everybody else to degrade the house.
Yes,
so just keep the standards high. Simple things like I don't skimp on fridge space, I number everything. I put numbers on the doors, I put numbers on the kitchen cupboards. Why I do that? Because when people move out, nobody knows whose stuff it is.
Yes,
and before you know, 2 years later, you got hickledy-pickledy.
There's a junk.
Exactly,
yes.
right?
Do you lock the loft?
Yes.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. That's storage space has
throw
to be.
everything
Yeah.
in the loft and then
So,
keep.
and I know some of my colleagues in that business, they have metered appliances. I don't like that so much. I feel a bit more generous just running it into the overall cost, and I haven't found big abuse going on. You manage it, you look at it, and generally. Another tip would be make sure you got one type of tenants. If you have a blue collar HMO, don't put one person in who is white collar. They normally don't get on that well. So I try to keep them professional HMOs. Don't mix students with old folks. Just the habits of how they live together will naturally create a more harmonious household if they come from the same type of background.
Absolutely, and I think the more communal space you have, the more you have to focus on the group dynamics of the occupants of the
That's why I have normally none or little. So again, depends on the area. In the areas I've been in, I got away with pretty much no communal space. The kitchen has got a little breakfast bar. I put a telly there, a couple of stools, and they don't spend much time. So they make their food and go in their rooms. And actually that is better. Another thing would be bathrooms. Just make sure you have about one bathroom per 3 at least, if it's less. Depending again on area where I invest in Berkshire and Bracknell area, you don't need ensuite bathrooms per room, but that's a different model. If you can do it at a low cost, I know many people doing that, of course the rent increases and you have more independent people,
Yes.
keeping themselves to themselves.
Okay, and finally, one thing you've always taught me about, you do business, you do property, but you've always been a mindset type of person, and you've been telling me about a new website that you've launched. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh wow, that's a surprise. Yeah, it's actually launching one of these days, so we're very close to launch. If you watch that video on the day of this amazing meet that's happening here, you will see a holding page. But yeah, we're launching a new project called simplyconscious.com. And what I've learned that over the years of making money and meeting many wealthy people, that wealth in itself does not create the happiness people are looking for. So for me, mindset and how to manage your state of mind and not just chasing for more and more and more. Good friend of mine says more is just more. More is not better. So you gotta, and that's actually an old rule you told me, what are you going for? What's the number? What's the lifestyle you want to have at? So Simply Conscious will focus on 4 areas: health and well-being, innovation and technology, business and wealth, and spirituality and self-development. It will give you hopefully useful information for free, and if you want, paid at certain levels to enhance your life, to have a better, more aware existence. Thanks for allowing me to mention
Well,
that.
that's anytime.
Nice surprise.
Anyway, so plenty more videos on this page where I talk to other people who have done great things in property. Hopefully Daniel is here for the meeting, and we're going to persuade him to come and talk to us next year on all these sort of great things. So the best way to experience Baker Street is through these videos, but more importantly, come to one of our live events. We get 200 people every month, and it's the place where you can keep up to date with what's happening in property and keep you on the right track with all the choppy waters we've got ahead. Bye for now.